It's beach season, and choosing a sunscreen for your baby can be very confusing. That's why we are here to help with some guidelines for choosing the best sun protection for your little ones. I get very nervous when I read the labels on sunscreen bottles. What are those chemicals and are they safe for my children? I'd love to know your favorite brands, and I'm going to tell you mine in just a minute. First, it should be noted that babies under 6 months old should be kept out of the sun. Before 6 months, babies lack the protective melanin proteins needed to protect them from skin damage, so, as my pediatrician told me, shade is best for babies. But once they're old enough to frolic in the sun a little, how do you choose a good sunscreen? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration recently released new regulations for consumer sunscreen. Some consumer rights groups think these are a bit too lax, but it's a start, so here are some things to keep in mind. Sunscreens must be broad spectrum. This means that they protect against UVA and UVB rays. Look for that term on the bottle, broad spectrum. Sunscreens should also have an SPF above 15 but below 50. The extreme numbers in either direction are ineffective. I stick to 30, but you also have to remember to reapply every 2 hours or so. Also, don't get the spray kind. Even the FDA says that these may not be safe, and considering how long it takes them to rule something to be unsafe before they take it off the shelves, I'd trust them on this one. There's too big of a risk of inhalation, so stick to the lotion. It's messy, I know, just deal with it. Also, don't get a sunscreen with insect repellent. Sunscreens have penetration enhancers, which means there are chemicals that are made to penetrate your skin. You don't want a pesticide thrown in there being absorbed into your skin, at least I don't think you do. The FDA no longer allows manufacturers to mark their sunscreens as sweatproof or waterproof because there is no such thing, so avoid that if you see it on the label. Water resistant is allowed though. This means that the sunscreen can take water exposure for between 40 and 80 minutes, but no more. A few other chemicals to avoid in your sunscreen include vitamin A, oxybenzone, and retinol palmitate. For the sake of brevity, I won't go into the reasons, just steer clear. This list is enough to scare anyone indoors, but I have found some brands that I like. One of which is an all-natural organic brand called Badger, although I must warn you, the sunscreen is like paste. It's really thick and can be hard to wash off, which my husband hates. The face stick is especially stubborn. Another brand I like is California Baby's Broad Spectrum Sunscreen as well. It's a bit less gritty and it's easier to wash off. Whenever I'm considering a new brand, I always refer to the Environmental Working Group's Sunscreen Guide. They rate them based on their effectiveness and health hazard on a 1 to 10 scale. You want to buy the lower numbers. You can find the most recent year's sunscreen guide at ewg.org. When you start buying sunscreens with these guidelines, you may feel a little sticker shock. You can drop $20 on a really small tube and be very tempted to just get the generic brand. I won't judge you if you do that, but if you choose a brand with a chemical makeup that you're not really all that comfortable with, then use less of it and then opt for a really good sun shirt and a hat with a clasp or a tie so your baby can't just rip it off their head like my babies always try to. I hope this helps demystify baby sunscreen and sun guidelines. Write me with any additional tips that you found to protect your brood. It's hot out there, so stay safe, kids.